When you walk down the Royal Mile today, you might see that it's one long vista from the castle all the way to the Firth. However, that wasn't always the case. The entire street was filled with marketplaces, so there was booths everywhere. There was vendors calling out for their goods, and shoppers bustling all the way around buying these goods. Behind me is where the Netherbow Port once stood. All of Edinburgh was surrounded by gates and city walls up until the 1700s, and the Netherbow Port was where farmers would bring their goods to be taxed before they walked into the marketplaces to sell them. Beyond the city gates, there was a variety of regulatory buildings for the marketplaces of the city. Where I stand right now is where the weight house once was, where people would bring goods to be weighed before they went to the markets. It had been here since at least the 14th century, and by the 16th century it was called the Buttertron because of the milk that was being weighed here. However, in 1822 the weight house was torn down to make space for Johnson Terrace and for better flow into the Royal Mile. Market crosses like the one behind me were symbols of town power because to be a market town you had to get an approved charter by the king. Edinburgh's had a market cross since the 14th century, however the one behind me dates to 1885 as part of a Victorian interest in the revitalization of the medieval market town. We just visited some of the major administrative buildings across the city that made up the market town. But where were the markets themselves?